Alrighty, hello everybody. I'm doing a vlog after, I think, like 4 months, 5 months. The last one I posted was in, good grief, it was in March. Yeah, because I was playing Final Fantasy, VII. Yes, hello, and once again, not in the video physically, because I am always tired when I record these, because I don't officially wake up until like the afternoon. But yeah, I wanted to kind of keep this video short and sweet. It is going to be edited, so you might notice some little cuts here and there on what I'm talking about. I'm just going to try to keep it focused. But yeah, the main thing I kind of wanted to talk about, other than like just what I've been doing in general, I'm not going to do like a, what do they call it, like a future of the channel. Nothing about like what the channel is has changed, other than the fact that, yeah, if you've noticed, over the last couple of months, I've posted 2 new little animations. I posted one for Control and one for Final Fantasy. This is just me kind of dipping my toes back into that. That's not like what the channel is going to become. I unfortunately had to give up on the Starfield series for a little bit. I want to try to go back to it because they announced the DLC, but at the same time, I haven't had a lot of time for video editing because I've been busy with other projects, which I'm not going into specifically right now. What this video is specifically going to talk about is Killzone. Yes, the Killzone 3 video is coming. I literally have one more thing to do on it. It is going to be the video after this one. I was expecting to get it done at the end of July, but that did not happen because I unfortunately, and this is no fault to my team, but I have a tiny little team that helps me with what I do, and when I pass things off to like other team members, you know, you can't always predict how quickly things will get back, and I'm very much one of those people who does not like to set deadlines for my team. I will set deadlines for me, but I won't do it for my team members. But yes, that is the next video that is coming out after that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to give more of an audience to this, if you go to twitter.com, if you look at Killzone Zine, there is a Killzone fanzine that I am one of the kind of like co-producers, co-creators. And technically I told him to make me the art director, but yes. In November, it's the 20th anniversary of the Killzone series. It's when the first game came out. Me and this individual, my friend Jimmy, are putting together a zine to kind of showcase like the series throughout the years. We have artists, we have fan fiction stories, we have developer stories, we have just anything that we can think of. We're shoving into this zine. All throughout the beginning of the year, when Jimmy was promoting it, we had a lot of hard time getting people to actually like get interested in it. Like, there are some people who are, but now that we're kind of getting the ball rolling on actually producing it, we're trying our hardest to like just kind of get more and more people to look at it. So if you have subscribed to my channel because of my Killzone stuff, please go to Twitter and look at that. It will be linked in the bio. I probably also had a graphic for it up here, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of art for it. This is probably not the only Killzone thing that me and Jimmy will be working on. Jimmy is like a really great guy. He's a member of the gaming industry. He loves Killzone. Like, I even asked him for this specific vlog to give me kind of his reasoning for why he likes Killzone so much and why he's trying to do this revival. And he told me I could like paraphrase it, but I honestly just wanted to read what he sent me, because I think just getting you guys his words is probably the best thing to do. So essentially, this is what he gave me. He said, I played Killzone during a formative time growing up as I made the transition to PlayStation as my go-to console during the PS3 generation. I came from a Halo background, so Killzone was a natural stepping stone for me, but it ended up really getting its hooks into me with how raw and human the conflict in it seemed. As I got older and made my way into working within the gaming industry full-time, I've been fortunate enough to cross paths with ex-developers who contributed to the series. Anytime I express my love for the series, they always say they rarely hear that they rarely hear that people, you know, like the series. I think that's what he was trying. I can't read it properly, I'm sorry. Whenever I brought it up on social media, there were always people saying how much they loved it in the series and had forgotten how good it was. I think the potential market for a new Killzone is massive, and the fandom is much bigger than you'd think. The IP has just been dormant for a long time. The 20th anniversary of the series provided me with an opportunity to fully delve into a series I love, while also providing a bit of a rallying cry to the community that we'd also love to see the return of this cult classic. It's also nice to celebrate the hard work of the devs, who don't hear much in the way of compliments when it comes to this series anymore. I didn't want such a milestone anniversary to pass without comment. Which he considers to unfortunately be a risk, which is something that I considered as well. In my mainline Killzone 1, not the big one, the kind of smaller one I made that tricked everyone into learning about stall, you can watch it here, I recommend watching it, I kind of made the same kind of argument that, hey, it's like, I just recently got into the series, I became a fan of Killzone in 2022. Jenny's been a fan of the series since the PS3 era. It's like, Killzone, to me, has the ability to be a series that can continue onward, and that's kind of why I've wanted to be... That's kind of why I've wanted to, like, create original content for it. Like, I think I've probably mentioned in a few vlogs, and I've offhandedly mentioned in other places, that I have been writing a Killzone book, and this is something I've talked to Jimmy about. My main thing is I want to explore Helgen from the eyes of civilians. I want to explore the industrial side of Killzone, the domestic side of Killzone. Because the unfortunate thing is, all that we know about Killzone is that it is two militaries fighting one another, and unfortunate space Yahtzees, and Space Hitler, and all this goofy thing. And one of the things that he and I are both primarily pushing for, more so me and less so him, but he is 100% on board with this as well, is making Killzone a more inclusive and more expressive in terms of an IP when it comes to multiple different kinds of individuals and groups and ideologies, because the problem is, and he learned this as well, a lot of what we know about the Killzone community as a whole, and these are my words, not his, is that it is very much a rat's nest of just right-wing, anti-queer, just anti-everything, bigotry, and just all of this kind of, woke quotations, and it frustrates the ever-living heck out of me. Because if people do not know, I am a non-identifying queer person. I create content that... I try to create content that is very inclusive without it being pandering, and Killzone is a universe that can have that. Killzone has a whole section of it that is completely unexplored by the games themselves, and that's not the fault of the games, but this series is so well developed under the surface that you could have whole book series take place, kind of like what they did with Halo. Like they did with, a bunch of things. I know Dishonored had books. There's a bunch of other gaming games that had books, because you have this beautifully intricate universe. And this is just the original trilogy. This is just Killzone to Killzone 3. I'm not even talking about Shadowfall. Shadowfall has the ability to become such a wonderfully explored universe. And I know a lot of people would love Killzone to come back as like a first-person shooter. I would love for this series to come back as like a stealth action game, like a Dishonored, or something kind of like Deathloop, or just anything like that. You could still have multiplayer, but like, you can't give up on Killzone's campaign. You can't give up on the stories that they love to paint with their environments and their visual development and everything like that. Like, I really want this... I think ultimately what I'm trying to say is I really want this zine to do well, and I want it to be able to bring people back into this community, not necessarily for a newer game, but to support what we have and potentially create a fan community that can build up this universe and potentially get the attention of Sony or Guerrilla, and see if maybe one day we could get a reimagining of this universe in a different way. Yes, I would love another first-person shooter. I'm a fan of very, story-heavy first-person shooters. Obviously, I love Wolfenstein. But I don't want this universe to die just because the idea of it being a bog standard military shooter is not sexy anymore. Killzone can be so much more than just a bog standard military shooter. It can be so many different things. And yeah, so I just I wanted to make this video. Please go support our zine. I'm going to be getting the Killzone 3 video out soon. Please watch my other Killzone videos. If this is your first introduction to Killzone, like if you're coming from Twitter and you mostly follow me for the Remedy content I've been making, please go watch my big Killzone videos and kind of understand where I'm coming from as a person who was definitely not the target audience for this series. But yeah, I really hope this video made sense. I will see you all later. I have a bunch of stuff to go do. I love you all. Y'all have a good one, and bye-bye. Also, thank you to my patrons, Carrie, Eric, and Tater Tot.